It's Monday, September 1st. Thanks so much for waking up with us. I'm Mary Strong alongside Kai Beach, who's filling in for Jerry Steffen. Jerry's on vacation this
Lucky
week.
Jerry,
Yeah,
huh?
hi, Kai.
Good morning.
So this weekend felt a little bit humid.
It is humid, and it's going to be continuing to bring that moisture into our environment over the next few days. But if you head to the coast today, you're looking for some of that relief. Big waves.
Oh, really?
7 feet. So grab the board, get the guys in the back.
Hopefully
NBC News
folks
car.
have the day off and maybe they can get down to the beach today.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll check in with you a little bit for the rest of the forecast.
Sounds good.
All right, thanks, Kai. Under our top story this morning, a 16-year-old boy is dead after what authorities describe as an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officers responded to Ocotillo Road in Desert Hot Springs on Friday night around 5:15 to a report of a person hit by gunfire. According to the Desert Hot Springs Police Department, they found a boy suffering from a gunshot wound. CAL FIRE also responded to the scene and attempted life-saving measures, but the 16-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. Both detectives from the Desert Hot Springs Police Department and Riverside County DA's office are investigating the death, but officials say they believe the gunshot was accidentally self-inflicted. The identity of the boy has not been released. The district attorney's office put out a new message on the Jake and Rebecca Haro case over the weekend. It comes as the office says there's been a significant amount of misinformation circulating in the media and on social media. They say they're committed to providing accurate information and they're bound by legal and ethical responsibilities that prevent them from sharing details on the case publicly. The office is also asking for patience and understanding during this time. The Haro parents have been charged with murder and filing a false police report. Rebecca and Jake Haro reported their 7-month-old son was kidnapped earlier this month. Law enforcement says they believe Emmanuel is dead after suffering abuse. The search for his remains are still underway. The Haro parents are due back in court on September 4th of this week. The California Highway Patrol's Labor Day weekend enforcement campaign is still underway this morning. Officers are cracking down on impaired drivers. It started at 6 o'clock on Friday night and will run until Tuesday at midnight. All available officers from the Beaumont, Blythe, Indio, Riverside, and Temecula stations will deploy for targeted crackdowns. A Los Angeles shop owner is rallying the community behind his wife who was detained by ICE. Annette Areola reports.
I am totally lost my feeling. I honestly, even though I was thinking, what a life I have.
Hushang Agdazi, overwhelmed with anguish. He says he hasn't seen his wife, Sharareh Moghadam, in almost a month after ICE agents detained her.
She had a green card, and then also she passed the exam for citizenship. She was waiting for ceremony.
The Iranian couple has owned this balloon shop in Studio City for almost 2 decades. Hushang says his wife received a letter from immigration for an in-person meeting. Thinking she was one step closer to completing the process, she went in, but was then taken into custody. Hushang says she was transferred to a detention facility in Phoenix, Arizona.
She is not the bank robber or thief or criminal. She is a very decent woman.
Hushang says Sharareh was born in Iran and entered the country legally with her documents in order, but he believes a recent trip is the reason behind her detention.
She was 2 months in Iran. That probably about 3 months ago. When she came back, it was 3 months ago. 3 months ago, she came back.
And you think that flagged her to ICE?
That's all I could say.
Community members are now stopping by the balloon shop signing a petition requesting that lawmakers step in before Sharareh's next hearing. Hushang says he is clinging to hope that one day he will be reunited with his wife as he reflects on the reasons why both of them chose to settle here.
Years ago, for our dream was U.S. is a land of opportunity and it's freedom. And it was. But right now, you could see everything change. You don't feel secure anymore.
And that was Annette Areola reporting. Let's take a live look now from our Agua Caliente casino camera in Palm Springs. It's time now to check back in with Kai to get a look at your forecast. Kai?
Yeah, hey Mary, happy start of September. We're going to see some hot weather here, and then it's going to start to feel a little bit more humid over the next few days. Current weather conditions, 86 degrees. That humidity we were talking about just a few minutes ago, 34%, so it's going to be muggy. Morning walk forecast. It's going to be nice, but it's going to be warm. 8 o'clock, low 90s, 10 o'clock, high 90s, and by noon, we're just over that triple-digit mark. As for today, we're going to be surrounded by a high-pressure system. That's going to drive up humidity starting tomorrow. If you're going to head to the coast, you can see some relief when it comes to temperature, but we're going to see some big waves out there, sets up to nearly 7 feet. Now, if you do go to the coast, this is what you're looking at. Orange County, 3 to 6 feet with that occasional 7-foot set. So if you don't know what you're doing, best to stay out of the water, but if you do want to swim, always swim near a lifeguard. On the precipitation, we're not seeing anything right now, but that's going to change as we head into Tuesday, and we'll start to see some chances for some thunderstorms and rain in our high desert communities. High temps for today, Palm Desert's going to see 114, up the hill Joshua Tree 101, Big Bear getting up there as well in the low 80s. The wind gusts right now pretty calm. Palm Springs International Airport 7 miles an hour, Whitewater 8, and our friends in 29 Palms, thank you very much for your service, 6 miles an hour. High temps for today. A lot of people leaving the valley. Denver, the Mile High City, 86 degrees. Dallas, 88. Seeing some flash floods out there. Atlanta, Georgia, 80 degrees. And in Seattle, we're looking at mid-70s, and you could possibly see the northern lights today and tomorrow. 3-day forecast brought to you by Comfort Air. Take a look at Tuesday. We're going to start to see that return of that possible rain here in the valley, most likely going to happen in our high desert and mountain communities. Those temperatures do stay the same, 103 Wednesday and Thursday, and those overnight lows, they're in the low 80s. I'll have a full forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Kai, thanks. A historic Altadena Town and Country Club reopens after the Eaton fire. NBC's Macy Jenkins has that story for us.
Nearly 9 months after the Eaton fire forced them to flee their community, the people of Altadena are back on common ground.
It's nice to see everybody who hasn't seen us in a very long time.
The Altadena Town and Country Club, founded in 1910, celebrating its grand reopening months ahead of schedule after its historic clubhouse was destroyed by flames in January.
First, there's more work ahead and construction will continue, but one thing is certain. This club is here to stay.
More than 700 club members and their families getting a first look at the renovated pool and tennis courts.
It will be a few years before a new clubhouse will rise from the ashes behind me, but our club will continue to flourish during these times ahead.
The disaster was a little different for everyone.
Yeah, we were out of the house for about 2 months. So we live about 4 blocks south of here. So we're one of the small communities around Altadena that actually did survive.
Well, we still don't live in our house, so we're in Highland Park.
But it seems these neighbors share the same vision for the outlook ahead, one full of hope and determination to see their streets come alive once again.
It feels good to be back and seeing the familiar faces, seeing our kids playing with their friends. It feels having a good sense of community.
Before I got here, I drove around Altadena, and I've seen homes being rebuilt, foundations being poured. But today is a celebration. It's a celebration of hope and restoration, and I'm in for the long haul to get this done.
It's time now for Where in the Valley, where we show you a photo of a location somewhere in the Coachella Valley and you guess where it is. So let me show you the photo. Take a good look at this. Do you know where this is? You'll have a little time to think about it. We're going to reveal this special location at the end of our broadcast, and I'll give you a little hint before we get there. Coming up next on your morning news, there's a lot of confusion around the new COVID vaccine guidelines. We'll tell you what you need to know next. But first, Tim O'Brien has a recap of all the Friday Night Lights action. That's coming up straight ahead. We're going to head outside and take a live look now at your Agua Caliente casino camera in Rancho Mirage. A little hazy to start off this Monday morning. Hopefully you get to sleep in and snuggle up in your jammies for a little while longer on this wonderful holiday. Kai Beach has your AccuWeather forecast for you straight ahead.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more. Committed to covering our community. You're watching NBC Palm Springs at 6.
A major Verizon service outage across the country has been resolved. At least 22,000 outages were reported Saturday on the disruption tracker website called Down Detector. Most users who lost service saw their iPhones display an SOS or SOS only message at the top of their screen. The cities most affected included New York City, Boston, Tampa, Miami, and Chicago. The San Francisco Chronicle reported that Verizon said the outage was because of a software issue. The Powerball jackpot has grown to a staggering $1.1 billion. That's after no one correctly matched all 6 numbers on Saturday night. The next drawing will be today. It'll be the 5th largest prize in the history of the game. Powerball tickets are $2 each and are sold in 45 states, Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So what are your chances of winning the Powerball drawing? Well, lottery officials say it's roughly 1 in 292 million. Costco's controversial shopping policy will officially take effect today. Back in June, the warehouse chain allowed shoppers with executive memberships to enter the store from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. during the week. Well, that meant other customers had to wait until after 10 to shop. The company said the policy was not strictly enforced, but now Costco says its grace period has officially ended and the policy will take effect today. But customers are not happy with the change. They say the company is favoring its higher paying members and alienating the rest. It's time now for Your Health Today, brought to you by Inland Empire Health Plan. Today, new concerns and confusion about who can get a COVID shot and where as kids head back to school and cases begin to tick up. NBC's Marissa Parra reports.
As new COVID cases are rising across the country, hospitals are starting to feel the impact. But new guidance over who can get the COVID vaccine is causing confusion.
It should not be this hard. I should not have to go to this much time and effort simply to get a vaccine to keep me from getting ill.
Last week, the FDA narrowed approvals for the COVID vaccine to adults 65 and over, or younger people who have an underlying health condition. A big change under the leadership of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary under the Trump administration.
The FDA's decision does not affect the availability of COVID vaccines for Americans who want them.
CVS says its locations will require a COVID vaccine prescription in 13 states plus D.C. They won't administer any COVID vaccines for now in 3 states, but will offer them in the rest of the country for those who qualify. Meanwhile, Walgreens, not offering specific details, says it's, quote, prepared to offer the vaccine in states where we are able to do so. The COVID vaccine shakeup amid turmoil at the CDC. The agency's director abruptly fired last Thursday by Kennedy, a vocal vaccine skeptic, with 4 senior officials resigning in protest, citing ideological interference.
That's the end of what I can do as a physician who said that first I would do no harm.
The American Academy of Pediatrics calling the new vaccine limitations, quote, deeply troubling, insisting broader vaccination is needed for kids even without a secondary condition.
53% of those children hospitalized last season had no underlying conditions.
The mixed messaging untimely as the school year and the battle over these vaccines is just beginning. Marissa Parra, NBC News.
Well, attention pet owners, CBD products made in part from marijuana plants are creating quite a big buzz in the veterinary world. Our Kai Beach spoke with a local veterinarian about a subject that until recently was considered off limits even to discuss. Take a look.
People can put whatever they want on these CBD product labels, and it doesn't actually have to match up with what's in their product.
Of all the prescriptions at El Paseo Animal Hospital in Palm Desert,
This is Galliprant. It's one of the safer non-steroidal anti-inflammatories.
pain relievers are the most common.
With long-term medications, there's side effects that we have to deal with.
But Dr. David Jeffrey says they're now seeing a sharp rise in requests for CBD products derived from marijuana plants.
People are using it for a variety of conditions with or without evidence to back up the use of CBD for those conditions.
Dr. Jeffrey says these non-psychoactive treatments were once off limits to even talk about. But in recent years, pet owners have shown growing interest in both their potential benefits and risk.
We get tons of pets coming in that the owners have decided, hey, I've read about CBD, I want to try CBD. The biggest problem that I see with pet CBD is that as a supplement, it's not regulated by the FDA.
The FDA Center for Veterinary Medicine has even issued warning letters to companies promoting CBD pet products that are not approved as safe or effective.
So in this fridge, we keep a lot of our chronic injectable medications.
Dr. Jeffrey says when it comes to getting prescriptions for your pet,
Librela is one of our chronic medications that's injectable for pain and arthritis.
it's best to consult your vet before making any decisions. I'm Kai Beach for NBC Palm Springs.
And if you'd like more information on the stories we're airing in our broadcast this morning, you can go to our website, NBCPalmSprings.com. You're going to find our top stories and breaking news right there on our homepage. And we've got a really cool feature. It's our newsroom tab, where you're going to find our stories and local events organized by date. Let's head over to Kai Beach and the Weather Center for a look at what's ahead in your forecast. Hi, Kai.
Hey, Mary. Happy start of September. We are tracking your Labor Day weather. I'll have a full forecast coming up in just a bit.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday morning and happy start of September. We're tracking your Labor Day weekend weather. We're taking a live look from the Agua Caliente Casino camera in Rancho Mirage. As for today, the high, it's going to be 111 degrees, normally 106. We are above average, but we're not near that record high, but 121 degrees. That is warm. Highs today around the valley, Indio 112. Palm Springs, we're looking at 94, Joshua Tree 101, and in Banning 103 degrees. Tonight's low temperatures not going to get much relief. East end of the valley, Thousand Palms 79, Palm Desert 86, up the hill in Joshua Tree 77, and in Banning we are looking at 71 degrees. Tonight's evening walk forecast is going to be warm, but nothing we can't handle. 6 o'clock 107 degrees, 8 o'clock just over triple digits, by 10 just under triple digits, and if you're still up at midnight, have some fun, 96 degrees. Now, a lot of people heading to the coast this holiday weekend. You can find some relief there. We're looking at mid-80s, but we're also looking at some really big waves, sets up to 7 feet. So if you don't know what you're doing, swim next to a lifeguard, please, and thank you. On 4th of July, Newport lifeguards. They made hundreds, that's right, hundreds of rescues over that holiday weekend. Now, here's what to do if you're caught in a rip current. Relax, stay calm, and float. Try to swim parallel to the shoreline, and if you can't reach the shore, call or wave for help. Now, in addition to that, there is a heat advisory across much of Southern California, including the Inland Empire. For Tuesday, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. We have a high pressure system to the east of us that's going to really ramp up. We're going to feel some moisture. We can also possibly see some rain, most likely in our high desert and in our mountain communities. Tuesday, 103 degrees. Those temperatures stay pretty consistent. Friday, under triple digits, and those overnight lows go from low 80s to high 70s.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
It's time now for our new social media contest with Dining with the Davids. It's called Dish Detective. We show you a video of some of the top dishes of a local restaurant, and you guess that restaurant. It's on our Instagram page, NBC Palm Springs. If you guess the restaurant, you're entered into a drawing for a $100 gift card for the restaurant. Last week's restaurant was Punzu Sushi in Palm Springs. Let's see if you can crack this case. Take a look.
It's the week of September 1st, and it's time to play Dish Detective. We've tracked 3 delicious clues to a hidden spot in the Coachella Valley. Think you can sleuth it out? Leave your guess in the comments by Thursday at noon for a chance to win a $100 gift card. Ready, gumshoes? First up, long golden strips of fried zucchini dusted with grated Parmesan, a sprinkle of parsley, and a side of ranch. This disappears faster than a midnight tail through the brush. Next, Pan-seared scallops in creamy champagne sauce with bacon, shallots, swirled through linguine with spinach, and finished with shredded Parmesan. Silky, elegant, and sly enough to steal the spotlight. And for sweet endings, a sweet, tangy lemon bar crowned with fresh berries and whipped cream. Served in a martini glass, because everything's better in a martini glass. Drop your guess in the comments. The answer and the winner will be revealed on the Friday morning newscast on NBC Palm Springs.
You can find that video on our Instagram page, NBC Palm Springs. You'll have until noon on Thursday, as you mentioned, to guess it right. And don't forget to tag the restaurant you think it is. We're going to reveal the winner on our Friday morning newscast. Good luck, detectives.
NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos. We have your game.
It was an exciting moment for U.S. women at the U.S. Open. The superstars left it all on the court ahead of a blockbuster match today. Maya England reports.
Tonight, the spotlight on American women at the U.S. Open as they continue to dominate on the court in front of record-breaking crowds.
I am a Coco Gauff fan.
Gauff and Pegula, I mean, they're just great players.
Beautifully struck. Last year's U.S. Open finalist Jessica Pegula advancing to the quarterfinals.
How would you describe the strength of the American women on the court this year?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of depth, honestly, for the last few years now. We're only seeing even more as they get better and better, especially the younger girls, so it's been awesome to be a part of it.
Fan favorite Taylor Townsend losing a hard-fought match today.
This one, no love lost between these two.
Townsend also receiving an apology from Yelena Ostapenko on Saturday, following her viral post-match outburst last week where she said Townsend had no class and no education. Ostapenko writing on Instagram, English isn't her native language, and she understands how her words could have offended many people. On Monday, a highly anticipated matchup between Coco Gauff and Naomi Osaka will be front and center as they face off for the 6th time, with fans gearing up to watch two former U.S. Open champions. 6 years ago, Osaka beat Gauff at the U.S. Open, but now Gauff has risen to number 3 in the world.
And the American women are absolutely crushing it. But to see what Jess Pegula's doing, to see what Coco Gauff's doing, the American women are certainly leading the way.
I think she's having a great season and always a tough player and a threat, especially on hard courts.
To be playing her again is honestly, for me, feels kind of special.
American players like Pegula, Gauff, and even Venus Williams, who will be playing in doubles tomorrow, have inspired more people to watch than ever before. The USTA says this year's players are the youngest and most diverse they've ever seen.
And that was Maya England reporting. Another Friday Night Lights is officially in the books. Our Tim O'Brien breaks down the highlights and scores from this past week.
It was all Xavier Prep, really offensively. The slow start all around, but you see King Pelham with the easy dish to Anderson Acosta, just a sophomore running back, punching it in for his first of the game. Remember the name. And then King Pelham with a big run, coming, dishing to the outside, coming along the sidelines, right into your living room. Look out, Gio. Gio is out there. All good. And then you got Pelham to Joe Mejia for the touchdown into the corner. Xavier Prep started to run away. And then I told you to remember the name Anderson Acosta, because he would find the end zone yet again for his second of the night. The Saints, Xavier Prep, go on to win 31-0. It has been all defense for the Saints through the first 2 games of the season. This one surprised me because I do know and think Desert Hot Springs is a high-flying offense. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the scores from around the league. Palm Desert, the Aztecs, out of town. They lose their first game of the season 33-14. Not too worried about them just yet. Coach Rudy Forty and company got it going on. And then we've got La Quinta, went up to the High Desert. Their first game of the season. They took their bye week in week 0. They took care of business, beating Yucca Valley 32-14. And then Indio, still a rough go after their 66-6 loss in the Mayor's Cup. They lose 50-0 to Fullerton. And then I can't believe this is something that not a lot of people had on their docket, which is good. This is good stuff. Shadow Hills 19-6 over Palo Verde.
And that was our Tim O'Brien. For more on our Friday Night Lights coverage, you can head over to our website on NBCPalmSprings.com. We'll be right back.
Palm Springs.
Welcome back on this Monday, September 1st. I'm Mary Strong. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. Kai Beach will have your forecast coming up for you in just a few minutes, but first a recap of our top stories this morning. A 16-year-old boy is dead after what authorities describe as an accidental self-inflicted gunshot wound. Officers responded to Ocotillo Road in Desert Hot Springs Friday night around 5:15 to report a person hit by gunfire. Authorities say that Desert Hot Springs Police Department found a boy suffering from a gunshot wound. CAL FIRE also responded to the scene and attempted life-saving measures, but the 16-year-old was pronounced dead at the scene. Both detectives from the Desert Hot Springs Police Department and Riverside County DA's office are investigating the death, but officials say they believe the gunshot was accidentally self-inflicted. The identity of the boy has not been released. The district attorney's office put out a new message on the Jake and Rebecca Haro case over the weekend. It comes as the office says there's been a significant amount of misinformation circulating in the media and on social media. They say they're committed to providing accurate information, and they're bound by legal and ethical responsibilities that prevent them from sharing details on the case publicly. The office is also asking for patience and understanding during this time. The Haro parents have been charged with murder and filing a false police report. Rebecca and Jake Haro reported their 7-month-old son was kidnapped earlier this month. Law enforcement says they believe Emmanuel is dead after suffering abuse. The search for his remains are still underway. The Haro parents are due back in court on September 4th of this week, and the district attorney's office put out a new message this week. California Highway Patrol's Labor Day weekend enforcement campaign is well underway. Officers are cracking down on impaired drivers starting at 6 o'clock on Friday night and running until Tuesday at midnight. All available officers from Beaumont, Blythe, Indio, Riverside, and Temecula stations will deploy for targeted crackdowns. Tariffs on numerous imported products went into effect earlier this month, including coffee beans. NBC's Adonis Albright paid a visit to a coffee shop in San Diego to see how it's actually impacting their bottom line.
Cafeína Cafe has been in business here along 46th Street in City Heights for about 6 years now.
Yeah, we have chocolate, cafe de olla, taro, and vanilla.
There was a steady stream of customers in the few hours I spent here on a Sunday morning, and these two baristas were holding down the fort. The coffee they're making is yet another product on the list of goods that were slapped with tariffs in early August, all the way up to 50% depending on the country.
10% is what we're currently getting taxed on everybody across the board. Everyone's feeling it.
Andrew Benavides is the owner. He heard through the grapevine about the tariffs last year, and now that they're in effect,
that means prices for our consumers, it goes up.
And get this, 99% of the coffee that Americans drink is imported. This blend, for example, is from El Salvador and Honduras. The latest inflation report from July shows the average retail price of roasted coffee went up a little more than 14%. That's before the tariffs. Cafeína Cafe gets its coffee through direct trade with producers. You would think that means it's ultimately cheaper, but Benavides says that's not the case.
A lot of it has to do with buying power. And also the farmers, producers, they set their own rates, right? So they have to negotiate with the farmers that they work with back in the at the origin. And they produce great coffee, so they can bump up the price.
You've heard the saying, money doesn't grow on trees, but in this case, technically it kind of does. Coffee grows on trees, but only in very particular climates. And the only place that we have those tropical-like conditions that are conducive to growing coffee is in Hawaii and Puerto Rico. And they also make coffee, but not nearly as much product as countries along the equator. Despite having to pass on the cost to customers, Benavides remains optimistic about the future of his business.
Thank you.
He's also grateful to his regulars who continue to show up.
I think customers also understand, but at the same time, it's not fair.
The only exception to this latest round of tariffs is Mexico. That's because their coffee is already taxed through the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, also known as the USMCA.
And that was Adonis Albright reporting. Well, this week, San Jose City opens its first safe sleeping site for the unhoused. It's a milestone in the city's efforts to help shelter those living on the streets. NBC's Marianne Favreau reports.
Unhoused people will soon move into these red tents located at San Jose's new safe sleeping site on East Taylor Street. Up to 56 people can sleep here, and there are 8 ADA accessible tents. The site will also serve as a navigation center to connect people with resources, with the goal of moving them into housing in about a month.
This is the last thing I need over there, is that, so.
Austin Feeler lives across the street and is worried the new safe camping site will make his neighborhood less safe, especially since he's seen people camping nearby set fires.
There have been fires right here, like right in front of the house.
The site is located near Watson Park and Soccer Bowl. Some people we talk with here say they are glad the homeless will have a new place to sleep and get help getting back on their feet. The tents open as the city continues sweeping those living at San Jose's largest homeless encampment at Columbus Park into 5 motels. San Jose's safe sleeping site was modeled after this one in San Diego, which is much larger. Last week, a group of unhoused people living at San Diego's site filed a lawsuit against the city, alleging the tents used are putting people living in them at risk of dangerous heat in the summer. San Jose is using tents made by the same company, and that concerns some homeless advocates in the South Bay.
Like the people who sued in San Diego, we have concerns mostly related to heat as well as disabled people. The heat down in San Diego inside the exact same tents was recorded at 110 degrees, and I know San Diego doesn't get near as hot as San Jose.
We reached out to Mayor Matt Mahan about the concerns. He responded with a statement saying this is San Jose's first safe sleeping site, and as a pilot, it will be carefully evaluated. These sites only succeed if they provide a clearly better and safer alternative to unmanaged encampments.
And that was Marianne Favreau reporting. A homicide investigation is underway after a man was found dead during the Burning Man festival over the weekend. The man was found lying on the ground in a pool of blood on Saturday night. The discovery was made when a large human-shaped wooden sculpture in the center of the festival was engulfed in flames. A participant flagged down authorities and reported seeing the man. He was transported to the Washoe County Medical Examiner's office. Burning Man said in a statement that it is cooperating with law enforcement. In the latest showdown over the Trump administration's immigration policies, a U.S. judge has barred the government from deporting Guatemalan children back to their home country. In the early hours on Sunday, a number of Guatemalan children were bused to an airport in Texas and were loaded onto planes by the U.S. government. Moments after a federal judge in Washington, D.C. temporarily blocked the flights from taking off. Those children were still inside the plane when the order was put in place. According to the Immigration Defenders Law Center, the children on those planes have not had their day in court, and many are scared to go back to Guatemala. The U.S. government insists the deportations are to reunite the children with relatives in the country, but some of the minors' lawyers argue that authorities should still follow proper legal process. For now, the children will remain in the U.S. while the case plays out in court. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is pushing forward with plans to start a major immigration enforcement operation inside Chicago. This comes despite a pushback from local and state officials. John Lawrence reports.
There's a political tempest blowing in the Windy City.
Well, we've already had ongoing operations with ICE in Chicago and throughout Illinois and other states, making sure that we're upholding our laws. But we do intend to add more resources to those operations.
President Donald Trump has issued fair warning to Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, saying in a social media post to address the crime in Chicago, or the federal government will take charge.
Chicago apparently is living rent-free in his head, even though on other days he'll talk about Baltimore, he'll talk about New York. Notice he never talks about where the most violent crime is occurring, which is in red states.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is pushing back at the president, signing an executive order this weekend that resists the administration's planned crackdown.
This order affirms that the Chicago Police Department will not collaborate with military personnel on police patrols or civil immigration enforcement.
Sources say the operation in Chicago could start within the next few days and may include a surge of federal agents and the National Guard.
President Trump has a mandate to have strong immigration enforcement. That is one of the main things that got him elected, and now we're seeing it's playing out. I believe ultimately the American people are on his side.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And now for a look ahead this week in the world of business, here's CNBC's Courtney Reagan.
The latest monthly jobs report, a would-be Fed governor faces Congress, and are you ready for some football? It's all in the week ahead. Markets are closed Monday for the Labor Day holiday. Tuesday, a key economic indicator is due with the release of manufacturing PMI for August, which gauges the health of the manufacturing sector. Wednesday, another key indicator of the labor market comes out with the release of the July JOLTS report, which details job openings, new hires, and separations for the month. Also Wednesday, corporate earnings from Macy's, Salesforce, and discount retailer Dollar Tree are among those set to be released. And the Federal Reserve will release its latest beige book. It's published 8 times a year and measures the economic conditions across the country. On Thursday, ADP will release its monthly measure of private sector employment. The Senate Banking Committee has a hearing scheduled to review the nomination of Stephen Miran to be a new Federal Reserve governor. And the NFL season begins with the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And Friday, the release of the all-important monthly jobs number from the Labor Department is set to be released. Last month's numbers and the revision to previous months prompted the president to fire the current head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics. I'm Courtney Reagan. Get all your business news on CNBC.
Well, earlier we showed you a photo of a location somewhere in the Coachella Valley, and I told you I'd show you the photo again and give you one more hint before we reveal the location at the end of our broadcast. So let me show you that photo. Here's the hint. There are quite a few mind-bending puzzles in this building. Think about that one. We'll tell you more about this special location coming up later in our broadcast. Next on our morning news, we take a look at the new trend of pet chiropractors. But first, let's head over to Kai in the Weather Center for a look at what's ahead in your forecast. Kai?
Hey, Mary, happy start of September. We're tracking your Labor Day weather. I'll have a full forecast coming up right after the break.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Well, Welcome back, everyone. Happy Monday morning, happy Labor Day, and a happy start to September. We're taking a live look from the Agua Caliente Casino camera in downtown Palm Springs. Beautiful blue skies out there. Go out and enjoy the holiday. As for today's weather, 111 degrees, normally 106. So we are above average, but we're not near that record high of 121 degrees. High temps today, Palm Desert 114, Thousand Palms 112. Our friends up in Joshua Tree 101. And if you want to head to the mountain, we're looking at 82 in Big Bear City. Tonight's overnight lows, our overnight lows are higher than sometimes some cities' daytime highs. Palm Desert 86, 29 Palms 83, Banning 71, and Big Bear City a cool 49 degrees. Tonight's evening stroll, it's going to be warm. It's going to be a little moist out there too, but nothing we can't handle. 6 o'clock, 107 degrees. 8 o'clock, just over that century mark. By 10, high 90s, and at midnight we're at 96 degrees. For tomorrow, temperatures do start to drop. Humidity does start to rise. If you're looking for some relief or you want to just get out of the desert today, you can find some of that relief on the coast. We're looking at mid-80s for the surfers out there. Big waves. If you're an inexperienced swimmer, best to stay out of the water. This is the reason why big waves and rip currents create dangerous conditions. If you're caught, stay relaxed, stay calm, float, and try to conserve your energy. If you can't do that, wave or call for help. Now, in addition to that, we do have a heat advisory across much of Southern California, including the Inland Empire and some of our valley and mountain communities. High temps for tomorrow, a lot of the triple digits on the board at Banning, Beaumont, Cabazon, and Idlewild, all under triple digits, as well as 29 Palms and Yucca Valley. Highs, Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, 105 degrees. For Tuesday, it's going to be hot and it's going to be humid. We are surrounded by some showers. Will we get them here on the valley floor? Most likely not, but never rule it out. High desert and mountain communities, most likely we'll see those. Thunderstorms, lightning, and we do have a ridge of high pressure that's creating a heat dome. It's going to make things very uncomfortable when it comes to that humidity. 7-day forecast brought to you by Comfort Air. Tuesday, 103 degrees. Those temperatures stay pretty consistent Friday and Saturday under triple digits, and those overnight lows from low 80s to high 70s.
Coming up right here on Today, an age-old question when it comes to concerts. Should you sit or stand during the show? Everybody appears to have an opinion, even the artists themselves. And this morning we are diving into that debate. That story and much more ahead right here on Today.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Well, you've heard about chiropractic care for humans, but what about chiropractic care for animals? They can suffer from the same aches and pains as their human family. And for many, chiropractic can ease the aches without drugs or surgery. Reporter Carol Clark has that story.
Do you like these treats? Meet Kian, a huge Irish wolfhound with a gentle personality. That long spine, though, can sometimes get out of whack.
And they just put him on medication, which isn't really treating or fixing the problem.
So Kian and his owner, Karen, pay a visit to Dr. Christine Kopp.
Well, I'm looking for areas of, in our world, in the chiropractic world, it's called subluxations, and that means like mild misalignments of the spine of the vertebrae. When the vertebrae is misaligned, it can affect the nerves around it, which in turn affects the whole system.
12-year-old black lab Zoe lost the use of her back legs a few years ago.
She was just standing there, started to walk, and just fell over. Nothing from the middle of her back, couldn't move anything.
It took 3 or 4 visits and adjustments, but Zoe is back on all 4 paws, able to walk.
Now we're at the maintenance stage. She's almost 100%.
Manipulation isn't the only thing available for animals. They can also be treated with cold laser therapy. It penetrates the skin, reducing inflammation and increasing healing. Dr. Kopp also uses supplements to help an animal's health. Just as glucosamine and chondroitin can help human joints, they can also help animals. As for chiropractic,
So I've done alpacas, we have a kangaroo that's coming in. Cats and dogs are my main thing, and horses. I've done mules and donkeys.
but this seems to be a dog day, and these patients are up and walking, enjoying a dog's life.
And now the Agua Caliente Entertainment Report, brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Superstar Lady Gaga is returning to MTV's Video Music Awards show. The network made the announcement on Saturday that Gaga was officially on the list of performers. Lady Gaga is the leading nominee at the VMAs with 12 nominations. Her last VMAs appearance was 5 years ago in 2020, where she performed Rain on Me alongside Ariana Grande. Other performers this year include Post Malone, Doja Cat, and Jelly Roll. The show is set for Sunday, September 7th. Whether you favor movies focused on fighting or feelings, David Daniel has something for you in today's Hollywood Minute.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen to fight. Tell me you're not some crazy fans.
Fans of Mortal Kombat will have to wait a bit longer for the next film in the franchise. Warner Brothers has pushed back the release of Mortal Kombat 2, which was originally due out this October. Carl Urban stars in the action flick, now due in IMAX and other theaters May 15, 2026.
A really heavily steeped environment for maleness. There's no room to talk about feeling, no room to talk about sexual identity.
There was this tone of, I gotta prove that I'm a man.
They attended an elite all-male prep school in the late 60s and early 70s. Nearly 50 years later, during COVID, they reconnected over Zoom and opened up to each other as they never could as boys. One of the grads, Peter Jones, turned their emotional reunions into the documentary Fortunate Sons, which debuts Wednesday on PBS stations and pbs.org. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
If you'd like more information on the stories we've aired in our broadcast, you can go to our new website, NBCPalmSprings.com. We've got our top stories on our homepage and our newsroom tab, where all of our stories are organized by date. Let's take a live look now outside at our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. We're going to be right back with a recap of your weather forecast with Kai and reveal our Where in the Valley special location. You're watching NBC Palm Springs in the morning.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
It's time to reveal our special location for our broadcast. Did you guess where this is? Kai, I know you know.
Oh, I know.
This is the Children's Discovery Museum of the Desert in Rancho Mirage. It recently reopened earlier this year with new exhibits to captivate the imaginations of children, and it has a room dedicated to mind-bending puzzles that's sure to stump both kids and adults. I know it took me a while to even get through one of those puzzles, and I still didn't figure it out. Yeah, so cool. I want to tell you about a really interesting story. Check this out. Chuck E. Cheese has been arrested. Well, an employee portraying the pizza-loving mouse, at least. 41-year-old Jermel Jones was working at the restaurant back in July when he was confronted by Tallahassee police. In the video, you can actually hear the officer, Jarrett Cruz, commanding the character to, quote, "Come with me, Chucky." Jones is accused of stealing a customer's credit card while she was attending a birthday party at the restaurant. She noticed fraudulent charges on her card soon after. No bueno. Chuck E. Cheese getting arrested like...
What do you think he was buying? Some cheese? Do you think he was buying some sanitizer for that dirty ball pit with all the kids playing in it?
On Amazon buying sanitizer, most likely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what are we looking at for the forecast?
Today it's going to be hot. Tomorrow it's going to have some moisture and big waves on the coast.
Okay. Thanks for joining us this morning. We're going to have more news for you coming up at 11 on your midday news, and we hope you have a wonderful Labor Day today.